Morning. So let's talk about the Zhiyun Weebill lab and how to use it with any of the Sony cameras like Sony a7R3, a7S2, a7 III or the upcoming a7S III. So the reason why I love this Weebill lab is it almost does everything what I always needed in a gimbal to ease my workflow. I mean, with my previous gimbal I always had to do this to start recording, edit ISO, aperture change, shutter change, everything. But with this I can almost do everything without even touching the camera. Neat. So the very first thing to know is the Zhiyun Weebill lab box comes with this cable box and it has a lot of cables. So don't confuse like I did. So basically here are the cables. First is the USB 2 micro USB. This is not for your Sony camera. Then there is a USB to USB-C. This is again not for your Sony camera. Then this is this third small cable, micro USB to micro USB. This is the one which you need for the Sony camera. Have a look at it. This is the cable which you need to use for your Sony cameras. This one end, this is going to your gimbal, and this is the other end which needs to go to your camera. And now that you have the cable ready, it's time to set up the camera. So basically there are just two things which you need to do in your camera. The USB connection type needs to be set to PC remote and the USB power supply needs to be set to no. That's the only two things which you need to do in the camera, and that's all for the camera settings. And now that the camera setup is done, now time to set up the cable with the gimbal. So switch off the camera, connect this end to the gimbal. Let me show it to you. Connected, and this end needs to go to your camera. The port which you need to use is the multi-port. Do not put it in the HDMI port. Here is the multi-port. This is the a7S2 because a7R3 is being used to film this video. So multi-port connected. This needs to be connected right here, and this thing is going into the gimbal. So the cable is connected, camera is set. Now let's go ahead and switch on the gimbal. The second thing to remember is do not keep the camera on. Keep everything off. First switch on the gimbal, then switch on the camera, and then only the USB mode is going to get activated. So let's do it. So first I need to switch on the gimbal. It's switched on. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and switch on the camera. Alright, so you can see that it shows USB connecting. You can see that it's recording. Second click, recording off. Record starts. Recording off. And you can see that all those options are right here. I can just click on this and select and change the ISO. Here the OLED screen shows ISO, it shows on auto because I have it set on auto. I can just move this and it changes. You can see that ISO is changing. Perfect. And if you want to change the aperture, just click on this. This is the shutter. You can change the shutter. And one more click and you can change the aperture. One more click, you can change the exposure. One more click, you can change the ISO. So basically you can do 5 things with this. First, you can stop recording without touching the camera. You can change the ISO, you can change the aperture, you can change the shutter, you can change the exposure, and do everything without even touching the camera at all. So that's it guys, that's how you need to use the Zhiyun Weebill lab and the cable to connect to your Sony camera, how to set up the camera, how to set up the gimbal, how to make all the changes, how to stop recording, how to change the ISO, shutter, aperture, exposure. If you have got any questions, just let me know in the comment section below. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't done it yet, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to stay updated. I will see you in my next video.